KILR KILR Games.
Hello, gamers and simmers and pilots. I am the Killer Gamer, and welcome to the World Tour featuring what's below me, Flight Simulator 2 from SubLogic for the Commodore 64. And we are here. You might find this hard to believe, but we are here at Bloomington-Normal in Illinois. And you're maybe thinking, I can't tell. There's a whole lot of dark gray there on the screen with a line. Well, this is the center line of an airport, or a runway, I should say. And if we go to our radar map, and we zoom in, this is the airport right here. Now, you can't see the actual runway because it's the same color as this. But I assure you, it's there. This is the center line of one, and here's the center line of the other runway. No, there's no buildings, nothing like that. It's just runways. No taxiways or anything like that. However, where we are headed is going to have some taxiways, and it's actually one of the last airports that we'll be going to that will have taxiways. Because after that, we will be jumping into the scenery discs for the Commodore 64. And those just had runways. That's all they had. So let's go ahead and talk about where we are headed. So here we are, Bloomington-Normal. And this is where we're going. University of Illinois. This is where my memories come into play. I've said this on other episodes, but I would start out here at Merrill C. Meeks, and sometimes I would fly to Chicago O'Hare and sometimes Chicago Midway, but I would always kind of take a midway point here at Grady, Kankakee, and fly all the way down here to University of Illinois, and then I would maybe hit some of these airports along the way and just fly my way back. And that's how I would do it until we got scenery discs, and then I would actually travel from state to state with that. And that's why I'm doing this world tour, bringing some of that love back into the Commodore 64, some of those old memories of mine, and sharing them with all of you. And not only that, but doing those same flights in the other simulators, re-experiencing these same flights in Flight Simulator 5.1, which I traveled around the world a little bit on, and Flight Simulator 98, and the later ones, FSX, just to see some nice graphics, and then X-Plane 11 to really get a sense of what it would look like. So we're doing a world tour on all of those simulators. It's pretty ambitious. But it's just something that I want to do, and I want to share it with you guys. These videos are not monetized. I don't make money off of them. So this is just for you. So if you like them, great. I hope you like them. I hope you get something out of it. Maybe it'll inspire you to play the Commodore 64 a bit. If not, but you've always been interested in what it was like to play these simulators, or this flight simulator from back in the day, well, here you go. This is how it was like. All right, so how are we going to get here to University of Illinois-Willard? Well, we're gonna take our Bloomington, and we're going to. There's going to be two airports out in the area, but the one we're going to look at is going to have some white and some blue, because the taxiways will have blue dots. That's the one we'll know is the right one. So if we line up with this runway, I'd say a heading of 130 away from Bloomington. I think that should get us. We'll tune that in on nav 2, nav 1. We'll tune that at here 110, so we know how far it is. Yeah, that should be it. Let's go ahead and do that now. So, nav 2. Whoops. 108.2. And we are setting that at 130 roughly. That might take us a little bit off. Maybe 128 might do it. There we go. So here we are. 128. Now, nav 1. Tuning that into Champagne VOR, which is 110. Right there. And oops. And there we go. DME! Oh, it's not showing up. We don't know how far it is. Maybe not yet. It's a VOR attack rather than a VOR, so I don't know if that gives us a DME or not. I'm not going to worry about this just yet. Well, once we get in the air, we'll tune this in and center it, and it'll give us a general idea of where it's at. I don't think we're going to get lost, especially if we're following this, but. And let's go ahead and change our fuel tank. This is getting low. Let's change it over to here. So that's a Control F, and then we'll do the. See, I moved the arrow this way. That is the greater than sign. That moves it over here. So it's kind of like the arrow kind of pointing that direction. All right. We're good. Turn on our magnetos. We can do that in sequence by going Control M1. Oh, that's off. Control M2. That's the right. Control M3, the left. Control M4, both, which doesn't really do anything. Control M5, start. And then it goes to B. Or I could just do Control M5 to start and just bypass that whole thing, and it starts it anyway. Now, what runway are we going to take? Well, I'd say if we take this runway here, we'll be good. Let's go ahead and go to our map view. That's funny. It looks like we're not on the runway, but we sure are. We're going to turn ourselves around here. Sometimes this is the only way to really navigate. There's our DME. It popped up. We're 42 miles away. Is that the end of the runway there? Nope. Not yet. There it is. It's right after that. It's that last line there. Ourselves turned around here. I love we just kind of skid right off here. That is like the closest kind of lineup we can try to get. I mean, look, we're kind of centered, but it sure don't look like it here. Okay, let's go. Flaps are down, better get those up. And away we go. And we went right by the radio, so we need to turn ourselves this way. Try to turn the volume down. That tends to get a little loud. There. Hopefully that's not too loud. It seemed a little loud in the other videos, so hopefully that's a little better. Aha, you know what we didn't do? We didn't set our compass. Gyro compass, there we go. Just set our altimeter too. Let's keep our altitude around 3,000. Usually the RPMs that I had on the other one was about 2050, so if we keep it around there, I think we should be okay as far as level flight. See, it's like riding a bicycle. It all comes back to you. Because the simulator back in this day, it's not really based on flight mechanics. It's more based off of just plain numbers. So I just start memorizing. You know, it's like, okay, now if I I keep my trim at this level, keep my RPMs at this level, then usually I can keep things at a straight and level flight, you know, stuff like that. And we can look behind us and we should see the airport. There it is. That's our tail. Our tail fin, our rudder. Yeah. All right. Well, all we got to do now is just ride it out. Oh my goodness. So what do we do on this flight while we fly? Well, maybe I can pull up a manual and share the manual with you. There's a couple of different ones. There's one about flight mechanics. Let's see if I can find that. Oh, let's see. I don't know if that is... No, that's the main one. Darn. That's not the one I was looking for. I got a message. My daughter's asking, it's like, how many blocks above bedrock is it safe to mine for diamonds in Minecraft? And it's 11. Something that you probably thought you'd never hear on a flight simulator. I do have Minecraft videos on this channel, by the way. Okay, let's see here. Well, I don't have a PDF, but I do have the actual box. See, and there is, this is the actual manual, but that's not the one I was looking for. That I have a PDF on. What did she say? Ah, okay, thank you. Which F number brings up the coordinates? Should be 3. Yeah. Okay. So, 31 miles. We got plenty of space. All right, so this is the one I was looking for. Aircraft Physics and Aircraft Control, with an introduction to aerobatics. I thought this was a pretty neat introduction, or a neat book that was included in the Flight Simulator 2 manual. And there was like nothing like this in any of the other simulators from what I could remember. We're falling off course here. Let's get back on course. Okay. So, with the Commodore 64, since there's not a whole lot to see, this is a great opportunity to take some time and just kind of go over a few things, because just kind of sitting here staring at the screen, just kind of like, ugh. So, let's go through this book here. Introduction. Writing a text to explain methods of flight and aircraft control is a highly abstract process. The difficulty of explaining a dynamic event, such as aircraft flight control, that is probably... I don't know if that's our airport. I think that could just be that could be Champaign. The difficulty of explaining a dynamic event such as aircraft flight control without personal hands-on contact seems almost insurmountable. Still, a well-designed instruction manual can provide real benefits, so the compilation of this manual was undertaken with the realization that only a qualified flight instructor in a real aircraft can teach you how to fly a real airplane. The goal of this manual is to help you more fully enjoy the entertainment instructional value of Flight Simulator 2 without letting you develop habits that could interfere with any future real flight training. We want you to have fun while practicing correct flight procedures. A state-of-the-art simulator, such as Flight Simulator 2, it was state-of-the-art back in 1984, provides such a sense of realism, I don't know about that one must carefully analyze where this realism transfers to actual flight. The flight lessons covered in this manual are not organized the way real flight lessons would be. Some basic concepts, coordination for example, are not covered at all, while other, more advanced concepts, instrument approaches, are explained in some detail. Concepts that are covered are consistent with the simulator's realism. This manual is organized into 3 sections: flight physics and aircraft control, beginning flight lessons, introduction to aerobatics. Flight physics and aircraft control should take 1 or 2 short evenings to read. It's a crash course. No pun intended? Or maybe it's, I don't know. In basic aircraft physics, designed to give you a background appropriate to the flight lessons. The flight lessons section describes how to fly and requests you to perform maneuvers to absolute limits. The section on aerobatics explains how to perform many aerobatic maneuvers. Should your aircraft control be up to limits, you'll find aerobatic flight to be quite an exhilarating experience. If flying Flight Simulator 2 whets your appetite for the real thing, we recommend that you check the yellow pages. Anybody remember those? Some of you youngsters are like, yellow pages? Are there pages that are yellow? Yes. Back before the internet, we had to use books to look up businesses. And they were like this thick. And they were like catalogs of phone numbers with advertisements, if we wanted to look up. That's how we did searches. Like, looking up a restaurant or looking up a computer repair. Yeah, that was the yellow pages. You search under aircraft charter, and alphabetical order, you know, kind of like a dictionary or an encyclopedia. Rental and leasing or aircraft schools, and ask the flight school to schedule you for an hour of dual plus 1/2 hour of ground instruction. We encourage you to take your first flight lessons or an occasional fun flight lesson with an open mind. Don't let your partial knowledge of simulated aircraft flight control interfere with the knowledge that only a real flight course can provide. Use your simulator experience to enhance your aviation education. Well, my goodness, don't try to base your flying off of Flight Simulator 2 with the Commodore 64. My goodness, this is like nothing like flying. So, you know, I figure it might be fun just to maybe go through a little bit of the book as we're flying. There's going to be a lot of airports that we're going to be going to. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff in here. I mean, it's got things about instrument charts, and this will just be a good touch base for me too, to maybe relearn some basic stuff. I learned a lot of my basic flight training from this. This is where it all started. This is how I learned my navigation and all of that. And I saw a little bit of blue. There's a little bit of blue right up here. That's our airport right there. Alright, let's tune on our VOR here. Let's see. Okay, so if we head at a radius of about 138, we should start heading to the airport. That's about right. But I think what we're going to do, let's pull up the map. I want to come down, maybe take, try to land on the 18 runway. So if we change our heading, or change the VOR radio to 120, change this to 18. Well, it's kind of sitting here in the middle, but that should maybe give us a little, okay, maybe not 180, but let's say 35. When we hit that intersection, then come straight down. Yeah, so we hit that intersection, I don't know, maybe somewhere around here, and then go due south. That'll help us line up, hopefully, with the runway. Yes, instruments. One, 2, 0. Let's get ourselves moving over there. Okay, we got this tuned in already, so we're going to... Got to remember, mouse don't work. They didn't have a mouse back then. So we have to do Control V1 and change that to a 1.8. Nope, not a 1.80. I'm sorry, not 3.5, but a 1.7. 1.7. Yeah. We want to go 2. There's our back course. At about 10 miles, we'll drop the first thing of flaps. I think we'll keep our descent. I think well, that was not the right button. Okay, brought our throttle down just a little bit. Want to start getting some descent here. So this here is the city of Champaign. Just think of it as just a, you know, the area. It's kind of lit up at night. These are roads. All right, flaps. Some of you might be thinking, man, that looks like a gobbledygook of mess. I don't know how you can make heads or tails out of that. I believe this is Frasca Field. At 8 miles, let's get our next set of flaps down. All right, flaps. Next degree of flaps. Alright. Time to start turning and catching that 170 radio. Or our intersection point is actually coming up. I don't think we're going to be able to see it. Yeah. So that's Champaign. We're not going to see the airport just yet. But we are 6 miles away from it. Time to put down the other thing of flaps. And as I said, the taxiways are blue. Of course, right now it's kind of hard to tell where the runway is at. I think the runway is like here. It's like going at an angle or something. We can tune into ATIS 124.85. Oops. 124 point... Well, that was not right. .85. I didn't see the ILS. Let's take a look at that again. Maybe we could use the ILS. That might be interesting. .31 approach in use. Localizer back course is 19.10. So we'd have to come back the other direction to catch it. Well, it said the localizer back course is available, but okay, I think I see the runway. I think it's right here. Of course, we're still not close enough to see it on the radar. .754 is our altimeter. That might be a little too much. Said back course was available. .109.10. Let's use that. 109. 109.10. Okay, we are nowhere near lined up with any of these runways. Oh, wait. I see it. Yes, we are. It's right there in front of us. But trying to get lined up with it is just... Oh, man, this is not going to be easy. Okay. I feel every time we land, I feel like it's an accomplishment because it's like it seems like it's so easy to crash this thing. There we are. There's the airport. And the fuel box. Where is that sucker? I don't know. Maybe it's where that white dot was just at. There's a white dot over here. No, I think that's a beacon. See? Here's a runway. It doesn't have a center line. I mentioned that in another video. Let's head to the end here. Get our flaps up. Get our elevator trimmed down. We don't want to be lifting off the ground. This will be the last airport that has a fuel box. After this, we have to go into the edit menu. It's the one that we go to put in like clouds and stuff like that if we want clouds. I think this is the taxiway. Yeah. And then go out of it and that will refill the... It'll do it right now too, but I wanted to get the chance to fill up our plane. It's like a sense of accomplishment. Alright, let's taxi to the gate. What gate? There's no stinking gate. And I'm not doing the... I'm going off the taxiway here. I'm not trying to do that. What I'm trying to do... is adjust my trim. So that way it is center. And it's not doing it! There. Let's see, can we see our fuel box? I don't know where this thing is. Maybe it's up here somewhere. Come on, I want my fuel box. I want to use my fuel box. I see it. I see it. Right there. When we get stopped, watch the fuel. It'll fill up. When you go on a flight like this, it's so cool. It's like, it's an accomplishment. It's like, yes, I made it to an airport where I can fuel up. And boom, there we go. Yay! Ah. All right. So we're here. Champaign at University of Illinois-Willard. All right. Well, that was a... Oh. Sorry. I have a Mountain Dew ice. All right. That was a good flight. And that wraps it up for this map of Flight Simulator 2. And which map am I talking about? I was showing you a PDF of the map, but if I show you the actual original, and that's not it. The original. The original map right here. So right there, all the way towards the bottom. There we are, University of Illinois. So we're at the bottom of this map. So that wraps up this map, and we will be switching over to scenery disc number 9 on the next episode. And scenery disc number 9 actually covers this whole area just like the default Flight Simulator 2 does, but it doesn't have all the taxiways. But it still covers this area. So we'll load up into this, and then we'll load the scenery disc. And you'll notice that it will change things. And we're going to change the time too, because now that we're going to be going to the scenery disc, I'd like to be able to see a little bit more of the scenery. We'll change it to before the it'll still be night, but we'll do it before the day breaks. That's it though. Thanks for joining me. Remember to tune in and watch the other versions of this flight on the other simulators, and I will see you next time. If you enjoyed this flight and trip back in time, then you might enjoy some of these other videos I made of the same flight. This is just a small sample of the other simulators I'm also using for the World Tour, so you can check out how things compare there if you'd like. Or perhaps you have fond memories of one of them and just want to see more. There will be more flights, so remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you around in the skies.